This is Rwanda, Africa, the land of 1,000 hills. I'm here with 11 other CH2M volunteers to build our 4th bridge with the nonprofit organization Bridges to Prosperity.
So here we are in the middle of Africa. Rwanda is a small landlocked country about the size of Maryland in the US, with a population of over 12 million. We're right near the equator, but we're at a high elevation. During the day it can get quite hot, but at night it can cool down.
We're about 20 miles west of the capital city of Rwanda, Kigali, in a small community right about here called Butare.
We arrived at our accommodations pretty late last night, got settled in, got a good night's sleep.
This is our first morning. We're on our way to site, and we're excited to see what it looks like. This is the river Backfilling. We've got communities over here and communities over there, and markets there and schools there. That's why we're here, to bridge this river and connect communities.
Many people, my family, my friends, and our neighbors are very happy of this bridge.
At the moment, this river is just a muddy trickle, as you can see, so people can cross wherever they want. However, in the rainy season, around April, for a couple of months, this river then becomes a raging torrent and the banks are full and no one can cross. That means 720 farmers can't get to market, 2,000 kids can't get to school, and no one has access to medical care.
It's so dangerous. Some people dies in 1 month. 4, 5, or 6 people may die because of this river.
So we're here at the left abutment of the bridge. So your abutments are your substructure units that carry the load down into the earth. Prior to arrival on site, the local community actually performed a substantial amount of work. They did a massive excavation here. They built up our ramp walls. And they also constructed the towers here. They poured the anchor block, along with also hanging the 7 cables. So they dragged the 7 cables of the bridge all the way across in order to enable us to hit the ground running. And it's quite a beautiful bridge. The locals did a wonderful job with the masonry on it. So I'm quite impressed, and I'm looking forward to helping them out and finishing this thing off.
This path to the bridge was made just in 1 day. It was made by local community in the work called Umuganda, which happened in 1 day per month. Local community meet together and work on local community project.
Today is Umuganda, which we call community work.
One of our first tasks to do is actually going to be setting the sag on the cables. What we want to ensure is that the bridge keeps a certain freeboard or elevation above the water, so we need to tension the cables to a certain point to bring them up above the water, so when they're loaded with everybody and we get a full running river that's flooded, that we maintain a certain minimum freeboard above the water to keep everything safe.
We are trying to pull all these cables tight, and it's getting really hot in the afternoon, and all those cables are really heavy. Hopefully we can get all of this done today.
So in the last stages here, getting our cable set. So the cables come into the abutment. They just basically run into a steel cage here and loop back around.
So as the construction manager, my daily tasks have been to oversee the overall construction, organize people, delegate tasks. Specifically, my job was to set up the fabrication yard. I tried to set it up as efficiently as possible so we minimize the amount of carrying the heavy lumber from position to position. Everyone's working together excellently.
As you can see, we have a lot of materials out on site. We have some people over here working on the timber for the decking and the nailers, and all of this comes from local eucalyptus trees gathered in the district. We also have some people working on the steel crossbeams and the steel suspenders. And pretty cool because we have a local partnership with the technical school in Kigali who helps us with the fabrication of all those steel crossbeams. All of the rocks and the gravel and the sand were all gathered locally, some of this from the river. And the most important component of our bridge projects are obviously the steel cables, which we have donated from shipping ports in the US. We have a program where they send us their used cables, ship them halfway across the world, and we're able to use them in our bridges.
As a safety manager, I do the safety briefing every morning, which includes the local community members. I decided to use some pictures and graphic just to help with the translation. We do have someone on site who can do the translation, but just want to make it more interesting and make it easy to understand. Throughout the day, I have to make sure people stay hydrated, drinking their water. We apply sunscreen, also have to monitor the safety practices, and at night we have discussions about near misses and just lesson learned.
So what we're doing here is we're cutting the rebar which is going to be used for the suspenders. Are you ready, Johnny? Yeah. Let's go. Job done.
These are the nailers, and these boards go on top of the cross beams over there, and we're painting them with diesel to protect them from the weather.
You see Damison over here bending rebar that we cut earlier. That rebar is going to be attached to the cross beam and nailer. The problem that we're having is the wood is too hard to accept a self-tapping screw, so we're going to have to pre-drill the holes.
This is the local market to the community we're building the bridge in. People from all over the area come to sell their goods, vegetables, fruits, clothes, and the bridge will help provide access for more and more people to come here.
So this is the main street in Butare that we drove down coming into town. These two houses up on the right are where we're staying. We have the two front rooms and the one with the red doors. So through these red doors is our common area that we spend most of our time. This area in here has the best breeze, so we tend to eat our breakfast, lunch, and dinners out here. So right over here to my right is our kitchen. Bridges to Prosperity has hired 2 cooks to prepare food for us. In here they've been making us a lot of rice, beans, plantains, vegetables, lots of starch. So right over here we have our showering area. We have a giant basin and a cup that we can hose down with. Over here we have the location that I think gets the most questions, but this is our restroom. You will see that it is definitely a great balancing act. So at this location, we are very lucky to have running water. While it's not drinkable, we can definitely use it to wash our hands, wash dishes. You can see we've been playing a lot of checkers using our bottle cap pieces. And both of these are handmade boards. And it's also been absolutely fantastic to swap stories with people since we have so many countries represented. So we aren't just learning about Rwanda, we're learning about our teammates across the globe. So in here we have one of the rooms that 3 of us are sleeping in. You can see we have our beds, we have mattresses, and absolutely the most important thing is these mosquito nets, which we tuck around on all 4 sides just to make sure we're keeping the bugs out. But you can see there is enough room for all 3 of us.
We just finished setting the sag of the 7 cables. It has been a little bit difficult just to make sure that all the 7 cables were at the right position, and we are just ready to start hanging the suspenders and the nailers. The suspenders will be hanging from the top cables, and the nailers will be supported by the bottom cables, and they will be supporting the decking afterwards.
There's a lot of physical labor here, and we're doing things where we have to basically do the specific task, but there's also a lot of thinking that's involved, and we have to kind of work out how to do it. And we sort of arrange among ourselves who's the leader for a particular task, and then we'll shift. So I kind of like that. It's an opportunity to lead a little bit, to follow a little bit, think a little, work a little. It's a really good mix.
We are attaching the suspenders to the cables now. We bend the rebars around the cross beams and the cables.
1, 2, 3.
And this is tough work to bend bars.
Oh, we've got roughly 100 to do, so it's going to be quite a while of doing this.
We are double checking that we have enough cross beams on the cable to consider the real length of the curve, considering the sag, because what we don't want to do is just put an extra one at the end when most of the deck is done.
So this is our last cross beam going in, number 99. We're good to go. We're just about to bend the rebar.
Yeah.
This is the final bend going in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Oh, we made it!
When you're working in an office, everything you put down is generally on paper. Here we're actually building something that we can physically see, touch, and use. So to sit back with the team at the end of the day and to see what you've accomplished, it really keeps you motivated and keeps you going, and it makes everybody smile even though they're a little sore.
Spreading out the cross beams, ready for the decking. They need to be about 1 meter apart.
We're bringing the deck boards up now, ready for decking.
Once we get our decking in partially, we'll be backfilling here with the stones that are over off to the side here.
So at the moment we've got a couple of teams working. There's one team over here which are adding soil for backfilling to weigh down the anchor, and also add some protection around the cables before more rocks go on top. And then on this side we formed a chain gang, and we're just adding rocks here for backfill to create a ramp down so that people can access the bridge.
I wanted to push myself and get out of my comfort zone. When you're at work in the office, you kind of get used to the mundane and the ordinary, whereas this is kind of far from any of that. Everything I've done so far has been out of my comfort zone. So having said that though, it's been a really rewarding and a great experience.
I think what's been most surprising is the physical hard labour. It's been really intensive work. I'm finding muscles that I never knew I had. And the hardest thing is everyone's exhausted at the end of the day, and we still have a long trek up a very steep hill.
Drilling has been my favorite task. I love it. For some reason, when I get in the rhythm of drilling, I could do 5 hours straight and not even realize I was tired. I've learned that the culture kind of transcends, humor kind of transcends. It's been fun interacting with the locals. We're starting to get each other.
So while they continue on the decking to the bridge, we're working on the concrete to finish off the approach ramp.
I had a great time working with the local co-workers, and they're incredible hardworking. They don't even want to take a break. and I really appreciate that.
Every day when we work at the bridge, we can see hundreds of these kids crossing the river to come to school. Our bridge will allow them to cross the river safely during the rainy season.
We've been decking for about 2.5 days. This is the final board just going in now. Will it fit? Hey! We have a bridge. This was my first time ever working out at heights with a safety line. At the start it was a bit daunting, but thankfully there wasn't a big fall underneath us. And then by the time we'd worked out to the middle where there's a bigger drop, we were all a lot more comfortable. It's great to be up here and get the first views from this bridge.
You guys have done a great job. We've kept to the schedule. It's an aggressive schedule. And I'm really proud of each and every one of you. We pretty much finished up the decking yesterday. We're gonna start fencing. Fencing is gonna be the big task for today.
So these nails are more V-shaped, and unfortunately they're not going into the wood. So we are clamping them into more of a tight U so that with the hammer you can pound them in, hopefully a bit easier.
My kids believe that I'm a hero because I'm helping other people. So what is better for a dad than just having that feeling?
So we were working on the fencing, but it just started to pour, so we had to take a break.
It's only been raining for about 45 minutes, and look at the difference in the river. It's a raging torrent, and this is in the dry season. Imagine what it's like in the rainy season.
Thankfully, we're well ahead of schedule, and hopefully this will pass through. We'll be able to get as much as we can done this afternoon after lunch, and then finish it up tomorrow.
To sum up this trip, I would categorize it as a spiritual enlightenment.
This whole experience has been really fun.
I felt like I did something important.
It's an adventure.
Rewarding.
Awesome. Unforgettable.
Hills.
Proud.
Amazing.
Humbling.
Life-changing.
We just finished the bridge this morning.
Day 10, Sunday, Valentine's Day. We finished it, so I guess that's our Valentine's gift to you and everyone else in this community.
It's been a very long 10 days with little sleep, very tiring, hard work, but it's all worth it.
We had just kind of that big aha moment this afternoon when a couple kids decided to try out the bridge and start going across. And seeing that bridge span 97 meters from side to side, and knowing that we did that with our own hands and it's going to make a difference in the lives of people, and as many as 6 people may not die getting swept away in a river because of what we've done, was pretty touching and pretty exciting. Goosebumps.
We're looking forward to tomorrow, the inaugural day.
And it'll be a huge celebration.
We truly hope that this bridge allows the community to thrive and prosper for many years to come.
the bridge will make a difference in this community for these amazing people, I think it's going to change me forever in terms of how I view CH and our employees. There are so many of us that have a heart and a passion.
When I look at this bridge, I see prosperity. For a few more months out the year, these people will be able to get to and from the daily activities they need to do with ease, and that's going to help them prosper.